Online.
Master portion and warning systems, red lights on.
On.
Subsystems activated, flashing.
Flashing.
Comms are in.
Com check pilot.
Guidance and navigation are in.
Bay and passenger.
Abort modes 1 through 8.
Copy.
That's it.
They'll be ready for liftoff soon, Director. You better be getting suited up.
All right, Michelle, all right. Now, please don't you start harrying me, too.
I'm sorry, sir. It's just the optimum liftoff time is computed.
And the mighty conjunctions of the planets can't wait. Is that it? Not even for the director of Europe's Moonbase?
Well, no, sir.
No. No, I bet they'd wait for the Americans and all the Russians. A simple directive from Moscow or Washington, and the stars would obediently stand still in their courses. I always hate that walk out to the shuttle. Seems like miles. Do you know what the Russians have got?
Director, please.
A completely pressurized dome. Marvelous. Climb onto the shuttle in your shirt sleeves, rolls back when you're on board, and whoosh all the way back to Earth. Not even having to stuff your head inside a space helmet.
Well, one day perhaps we too will.
We too. Huh. Do you think they'll pay us for luxuries when they're starving us of necessities? You know why I've been sent for, don't you? Just another session with the bureaucrats of the Space Commission about the housekeeping. Do you know what a double bind is, Michelle? Something old Professor Lang used to go on about when he was a lad. A situation where you can't win. I can't produce the results because they won't give me the money, and they won't give me the money because I can't produce the results.
Well, there's still a faint chance you might be able to make them see this, Director, but not if you miss the meeting.
You're right. As usual. No, can't some of this stuff wait?
Most of it, sir, but this cannot. A liftoff authorization for the shuttle pilot.
What about it?
You have to sign it.
Life support systems.
Nominal.
Cryogenic tank levels.
Nominal.
Emergency detection systems.
Nominal. Get your skates on, love. Computer update systems.
Don't rush it, Harry. The director's not even here yet.
Thank our worthy technical director, Salmon, and tell him I do know how to run a systems check. Oh, and tell our esteemed director to get a shift on or he'll miss the next bus to Earth.
Computer update systems.
All right, Mummy. You win. Computer update systems are nominal.
Directional guidance system.
Nominal.
Environmental control system.
Nominal again.
Engine gimbal angle.
Is vertical and locked.
Combanks A and B.
Both green.
Oh, for heaven's sake. Is the man cleared for liftoff, or isn't he?
Well, yes, Director.
All the checks. Physical, psychological, the lot. Lord knows there are enough of them.
It's just that Dr. Smith has a feeling.
Then why didn't she downgrade him on her tests? Or at least write a special PS report.
Well, I gather there was nothing definite enough for that, sir. He passed all the checks.
Exactly. Now, look, Helen Smith tries to mother everybody on this base. It's part of her job. But if one of her little lambs gets a psychological head cold, she's all for hospitalization.
Even so, sir, perhaps
Harry
we
Sanders always flies my personal shuttle. I've made dozens of trips with him. Oh, really, haven't I enough on my mind as it is?
I'm sorry, sir. It's just that I promised Dr. Smith to speak to you.
Well, yes, so you have.
All pre-liftoff checks completed and nominal. Countdown is standby plus 7 minutes.
And here am I, waiting at the church.
Okay, Harry. The director's suited up and on his way out.
About time, too.
Well, off I go.
Good luck with the commission, sir.
Oh, thanks, Michelle. Yeah, I always hate this walk up to the shuttle. It seems like miles. Well, goodbye, Michelle.
Professor Liftoff, contact seismology section as soon as possible, please.
Be late for his own funeral.
Mild solar flare bringing up, Harry.
Now, he tells me. Intensity?
Well, fairly mild. You might get a bit of a crackle in communication.
I admire your confidence.
Final countdown will commence when your passenger is on board.
Here he comes now. Welcome aboard, sir.
12 seconds and counting. 10.
We're still go. How does it feel, Harry?
8,
Find my end.
7,
Mark ignition sequence, mark.
5, 4, ignition, 2, 1, liftoff.
Jenny, has the director gone?
There he goes, love. You can speak to him if you like.
No need. I just wanted to know how he took it, flying without his pet pilot. How did he take it?
Well, he didn't. Harry Sanders is flying that shuttle.
Didn't Michelle speak to him?
About what?
It doesn't matter. How did he, seem?
What, the director?
Harry Sanders.
As usual, number one and knows it.
Tense?
Well, he rushed his pre-liftoff check a bit. Got a bit cheeky when I told him. And he,
Yes.
well, he was a bit crabby just before ignition. Still, it's hardly surprising, love, considering we kept him waiting in standby for 7 minutes.
Yes, of course. Fine.
Okay, give me a status report when you
Thanks, Tom.
on support systems as nominal.
Little low on tack 5. Nothing marginal, though.
Any red lines?
Negative.
Do you know what I'm going to do?
8 plus 9,
What?
9. The rest
Look,
plus
next time I have my shrink session, I'm going to sit up on that couch and say, Dr. Smith, I have this terrible problem.
settings plus
Yeah?
5. Plus
Yeah, well, every time you come near me, Dr. Smith, I shall say, I have this
low valve.
terrible urge to reach out and grab you.
You wouldn't dare. Sublimation, boy, that's the answer.
Yeah, sure. Hello, Shuttle. This is Moonbase 3 Flight Control. You're looking good, Harry.
But you promised to talk to him.
And so I did.
What happened?
He had one of his little tantrums. No one is more implacable than a weak man trying to be strong.
Didn't you explain?
Well, what did you give me to explain? Is Harry Sanders the top shuttle pilot on the base? Yes. Has he passed all his physical and psychological tests? Again, yes. Why then should he not fly the director's shuttle? Because our dear Helen has a funny feeling about him.
Having funny feelings about people is what I'm paid for.
You're also paid to incorporate them couched in suitably impressive jargon into official psychological record reports, our
Yes.
famous PSR.
Yes, I
You'd written
know.
a special PSR and grounded him automatically. Why didn't
Because
you?
I had no good reason.
Then there's nothing further to concern us.
Harry? Harry? Is everything all right?
Just an attitude correction, sir. Everything's fine. You're in safe hands now.
Quite right. That's what I told them back at Moonbase. You know, they actually wanted me to take another pilot.
Whose idea was that, sir?
Oh, I don't know. All a lot of nonsense, anyway.
I think it's only fair to tell me, sir.
Dr. Smith went to Dr. Lebrun. Thought you might have been overdoing things.
On Tom Hill. You must have been in on it.
No idea, old chap. Anyway, soon put a stop to it. Harry Saunders is my pilot, and that's that, I said. Best pilot on Moonbase. Always was, always will be.
That's the idea, sir.
There's a caution and warning signal on his EDS. Just ignoring it.
Hello, Shuttle. This is Moonbase 3 Flight Control. We have a caution and warning on EDS. Do you copy? Do you copy? Hello, Shuttle. This is Moonbase 3 Flight Control.
Do you know his background?
I've made it my business to know the background of everybody on the base.
Parents killed in a crash when he was 3.
Brought up in a state orphanage, educated in a state school, enlisted in the RAF. Officer cadet scholarship to university, selected for astro-pilot training, top of his group on passing out.
Always first and always on his own.
In the selection of astronauts, one naturally chooses those of maximum achievement and maximum drive. I think Saunders deserves only praise for the way in which he's succeeded in his profession.
But suppose he has succeeded too well. Suppose he's worked so hard for status that if he isn't number 1, he's nobody.
Oh, even so, what does it matter? He's got a useful neurosis, one imagines.
In certain circumstances, certain combinations of circumstances...
If you could be just a little more explicit.
If something were to go wrong, if he felt that his immaculate record was being threatened, he might refuse to admit that he needed help from anyone.
I called, but you didn't answer. Everything all right?
Just a few gremlins in the directional guidance system, sir. Soon get it sorted.
Surely doesn't the base computer deal with that sort of thing?
Look, sir, I'm the pilot. This is my ship. I'll fly her and fix her faults myself. I don't need their help.
All right. Sure you know best.
I see. So reluctant to stick out your own neck, you endeavored to persuade me to extend mine.
Stop trying to be so clever. Can't you realize that an official report from me might have worsened the very condition I was worried about?
What's this about Harry Saunders? Is he fit to fly that shuttle, or isn't he?
I don't recall an appointment.
Well, there's one now, Bicky boy. Well,
He was cleared for liftoff through normal channels.
so why did you assume he'd been changed?
Dr. Smith had some rather vague uncertainties.
Well, you should have listened to them.
Something's happened.
He's got a fairly simple malfunction of his onboard computer. It's feeding him faulty guidance signals.
Well, surely all he
Yes, a
has to do is...
simple update of the main computer. You see, we take on his onboard computer, correct it, and update it.
Well, why doesn't he do that?
I don't know.
No, why don't you order him to?
I can't. He's cut off all communications.
That's it, of course. I've located the fault, sir. Get it fixed in a jiffy.
Oh, well, that's a relief. I must confess I was beginning to get a little worried.
Oh, you're in good hands, sir.
The best, Harry, I know that.
See, the directional antennae are on the blink. Well, a simple adjustment, that's all.
But surely the antennae are on the outside of the ship, aren't they?
That's right, sir. Just have to get out there and fix them, won't I?
Hello, Shuttle, this is Flight. Do you copy? Please observe correct in-flight procedure and report. Hello, Shuttle, do you copy?
He's still looking all right.
Even if he answers, we could still
Hello,
have
Shuttle, this is Flight. Do you
problems.
copy?
The solar activity
Please
is building up
observe
faster than we
correct
expected.
in-flight procedure and report.
All communications will be severely handicapped.
That's all we need.
There we are, sir. Now, don your helmet.
I do think you ought to tell Flight what's going on. It is routine procedure, surely.
Right we are, sir. Anything to oblige. Shuttle pilot to Flight, do you copy?
Copy here, Harry. We gather you have some kind of a problem.
No problem, Flight. My directional antennae are out of whack. I'm just going to nip out to adjust them. Shuttle out.
Hello, Shuttle, this is Michel Lebrun. As acting director, I ought you to return shuttle control to us. We're going to bring you back. You are not repeating...
You're wasting your time, Mickey boy.
fault's in its onboard computer. How can he possibly fix it by going outside?
He can't.
Well, surely he knows that.
He would do. In his right mind.
What's his position?
Just coming within range of the directional satellite.
Well, if he's anywhere near those antennae when they pick up the satellite.
The hatch has been resealed.
Hello? Moonbase control? Do you copy? Please, do you copy?
This is Moonbase 3 Flight Control. We're copying you. We copy you. What's happening up there?
Hello, sir. This is Tom Hill. I gather there's a problem, sir. Can you let us know what's happening?
Tom, is that you? You've got to help me.
What's going on, sir? Where's Harry Sanders?
He's gone. Outside this shuttle, the safety line broke. He just drifted away into space. Tom, what am I going to do? I'm alone up here. I'm not a pilot.
Now listen, sir. It's all dead simple. All you do is switch your onboard computer to automatic. We take over and fly you home, okay? Now, you see the computer keyboard? It's up high and to your left. Punch in verb 78.
Again, Tom, I can't hear you.
Up high and to your left. Punch in verb 78. Noun 0.
Tom, it's no good. I can't hear you. Tom, listen, I'm going to try and turn her back.
Don't do anything, sir. Can you hear me, sir? Look, just sit tight until the solar flare drops and we can talk you down.
What?
Let's fight the port jets. Full power.
Dr. Ransom, sir. Can you hear me, sir? Switch off.
I'll try to straighten her. I'm going to fire the starboard jets.
Stop it, Tom. You're hitting every control in sight.
Do you hear me? I'm going to turn her back on the gimbal. I say again, I'm turn her back on the gimbal.
No, sir. Don't do it. If you gimbal the main engine, both of us, you'll tear the ship apart, sir.
She's coming round. She's coming round.
Switch off, sir.
What?
If the main fuel line's ruptured, she'll blow up. Switch off, sir.
Moonbase 3 must be closed down now. The European community can no longer afford this extravagance.
The Americans managed to afford Moonbase 1, Russians Moonbase 2, China has Moonbase 4, Brazil has Moonbase 5.
This unwanted waste of both money and lives cannot...
Including the unfortunate death of Dr. Ransom and his pilot. Moonbase 3 has only seen 5 fatalities in the entire 8 years of its existence. However, this is neither the time nor the place for such a discussion.
The Director General is quite right. We have but one item on the agenda, the appointment of a successor to the unfortunate Dr. Ransom. In my view, there is only one candidate. Lebrun must be promoted.
I think not, Madame Karnak. Lebrun is too deeply involved in the unhappy state of the base and the death of its former director. A fresh eye, I think, might be advantageous.
Perhaps you have someone in mind.
Matter of fact, I have. David Calder.
Ah, your Welsh wizard.
I do not know him.
Very unusual man, scientist, academic, administrator, all in one. David Calder was lecturer in theoretical physics at Oxford when the Troubles broke out.
Troubles?
Ooh, the worst we've ever had. A combination of student militancy and reactionary administrators brought the place to a standstill. David Calder took over as Chancellor when nobody else wanted the job, and he had the place running smoothly in less than a year. David Calder is what you might call a militant liberal, passionately committed to the middle of the road.
Since the continued existence of Moonbase 3 is in question, should not the new director be appointed on a provisional basis?
I think not. We must appoint the best man for the job as it exists now. Perhaps he'll decide for us whether Moonbase 3 is to live or die.
I agree.
Very well then, I shall put it to the vote. Calder or Lebrun. As you know, I vote for David Calder. Madame Karnak?
Lebrun.
Dr. Hauser?
I abstain.
Well then, I shall have to use my casting vote. David Calder will be appointed as director of Moonbase 3.
And much as I regret this action, stop. I see, however, no other course open to me. Stop. I'm aware that my contract...
Hope you finished polishing your boots, Mickey boy. The new boss is about to descend on us, literally.
I presume you mean the shuttle is about to make its descent?
That's it, Mickey boy. In descent orbit now. Bang on ETA.
Very good. Oh, and Tom?
Yeah?
Don't call me Mickey. Furthermore... Oh, zut. I'm aware that my contract... Furthermore... Delete, delete, delete. Come.
Calder's about due, isn't he?
Well, not you too, Helen. What's the matter with everybody?
I see I'm interrupting you.
No, not at all. Be my guest. You can be the first to know.
Know what?
I'm aware that my contract has 11 months to run. Stop. Nevertheless, I feel certain that the Control Commission will, considering all the circumstances, allow my resignation to take effect as soon as a suitable arrangement has been made. Stop.
But why, Michel?
Mark 10 seconds to ignition. Mark 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ignition.
We're firing Moonbase. Starting descent at 14,000 meters.
What do you know about this pilot, Walters?
Apparently the new director had him specially assigned.
Oh, no, not another one with his pet pilot.
No, this is not a sudden decision. I've been thinking about it for a fortnight.
Since they said who was taking over.
I suppose so.
But you don't even know Dr. Calder.
I know his background.
So?
An obscure academic turned civil servant. He's had no training in astronautics. He's never even been involved in any sort of space program. According to the papers, he didn't even want the job.
He's done a lot of very good work.
Well, go on, say it.
You didn't really think they'd give the job to you.
The Control Commission have made it quite clear what they think of me. Very well, I accept that.
Oh, really, Michelle? You're reacting like an hysterical schoolgirl.
Thank you. I'm always impressed by the precision of your English cliches.
They couldn't make you director. You're too young.
My age is irrelevant.
Can't you realize how they'll take it? Your resignation is an open confession of guilt.
20 meters. 18. 16.
Drift to the right a little.
Correcting. 10 meters.
That's
8.
it. That's it, Wally. Bring her down.
Final burn. Throttling up now.
Look after things, Raoul, will you? I've got a date with the reception committee.
If the question of guilt should arise, I might not find myself alone in the dock.
You know, sometimes, Michelle, you can be thoroughly unpleasant.
Oh, it's never nice to hear the truth. All I'm suggesting is just a pinch of caution.
Right, lads, fall in outside. What's up?
Michelle's putting in his resignation.
Then he's a fool.
You too.
They'll be looking for somebody's head. Yours is as good as any, I suppose.
You don't understand.
Oh, yes, I do. Feeling narked, aren't we? Because he didn't make you the boss.
No, it is not a matter of my feelings. This place needs pulling together. It needs clear-sighted leadership, a strong man at the top who...
Oh, right you are.
Michelle, please, just let it ride for a few days.
Look, if you sign that, you'll be as good as admitting that Ransom's death was your fault.
You see?
Nonsense.
And that means the fault of Moonbase 3. The fault of all those who run the place, including Helen and me, to name but a few.
If the cat fits.
Now, look, we're only hanging onto the moon by an eyebrow. Do you really think we'll survive a scandal like that? Moonbase 3 will be done for. And you'll be the man who ended it.
Come!
I'm David Calder.
We somehow guessed. Helen Smith.
Hello.
We are most impolite. I had intended we should meet you at the main airlock, the three of us.
Oh, piping the side? What a horrible idea. You're deputy director, right?
Michel Lebrun. And this is Tom Hill.
Oh.
Sir?
I'd recognize him anywhere.
Oh, we haven't met, have we, sir?
6 years ago.
But
No, we haven't met. But 6 years ago, the time that you rescued the cat.
What cat?
They sent up a cat in one of our earlier space lab experiments. The wretched thing got loose. I had to cancel a lecture. Nobody turned up. Everybody in the common room watching you and that Moggy doing your spacewalk.
Oh, Tom.
That was just sentimental nonsense. I mean...
That's right. Fine bit of astronautics, all the same. Now then, this my office?
Yes, your office. Would you care for a drink, Director?
Oh, I'd love one. But let's have a bit of a look round first, shall we? Come and show me. Oh, nearly forgot. Put you out of your misery. All that speculation on the telly and so on. There is going to be an accident inquiry.
We expected it.
Yes. Not to worry, though. I'm it. No outsiders, see?
Professor Labenthal is carrying out an extensive program of seismological research.
Already we're getting the most interesting results. In the Marifigoras area, for instance.
Per. I do not wish to trouble the director until I have more definite conclusions.
Good, good. I shall look forward to hearing them.
It's an interesting process, but there are still a few flaws to work on.
Interesting? Man, it's beautiful. It's, elegant.
Elegant? Yes, it is.
Be anything out here. Gold, aluminium, uranium, new minerals don't even know about. Deposits worth millions.
You make it sound just like the Klondike. Well, I hope you strike it rich. Owe a lot to old Zelkov, don't we? failure?
7 o'clock.
Huh? Is that something I missed in my homework?
No, sir, it's now our official night period.
Huh?
Come 7 o'clock tomorrow morning, surprise, surprise, it's dawn.
The lights come up again, you see.
And they put on a tape of a cock-a-doodle-doo, you know, just to rub it in.
Really?
No, no, not really.
Oh.
It just seemed an obvious step to take. There are enough biological stresses up here without asking the organism to change to an entirely new rhythm. Now we can still talk about day and night. It helps.
Of course.
Dr. Smith was the first to suggest it. Now the other bases have taken up the idea.
Well done. 1 up for Moonbase 3.
All the same, one still finds research workers working during the night and sleeping during the day. If the work goes well, you understand.
Just like home.
It makes base routine very difficult to run.
Untidy things, people.
Thank God.
I've tried to introduce new regulations, but they've just been ignored. Lebrun?
There is a message for Dr. Calder. Is he with you?
Yes.
Is it from Earth?
No, sir, from Moonbase 1. Commander Jackson would like you to call him.
Oh, the Yanks. Great.
We'll contact you from from the director's office.
Right. See you for dinner, then. About 8? I'll try not to be late.
Royal command, it would seem.
Gruesome.
Oh, I don't know. Another?
Talk about free-floating anxiety. The whole time I was just waiting for the axe to fall.
Weren't we all, though? No, our Joe's in a sunny mood.
A bit too sunny, that's the point.
Me, I'm superficial. I'll take him as I find him.
And that is?
Well, he's just a big old teddy bear with a taste for being the boss. Just got to feed him the right buttons.
Well, just be careful you don't lose a finger or two, that's all.
I shall want to see the reports of every member of staff on duty that day, together with their personal files.
Oh, the files you can punch up on the screen here whenever you wish.
Oh, well. That's fine. I'll play with that later. Now then, about this call.
Oh, there you are, Dr. Lebrun. I'll get the call back for you.
You'll find a copy of my report to the Control Commission in front of you. I think you'll find it covers the ground.
Exhaustively. I spent a large part of the last 3 days reading it. Still, justice must be seen to be done. Lovely, that. Rolls off the tongue.
Putting you through now.
David, you old taffy son of a gun, good to see you.
Why, Bill Jackson, you haven't changed a bit.
You're as big a liar as ever. Anyway, welcome to Moonside.
Thank you.
The reports will be on your desk first thing in the morning.
Fine, great.
Hey, when can you make it over for a meal and we can talk over old times?
Well, Bill, you know I've only just arrived. But I promise you, the very first chance I get, I'll be over. Oh, and Bill, listen. I've got some messages from your family. Cock-a-doodle-doo. Who's that?
Sorry, sir, I thought you'd still be in bed.
Well, on a lovely morning like this?
The reports.
All right. Sleep well?
Yes, thank you.
Now, how would this be? Breakfast first. I could eat a reconstituted horse. And then give me about an hour, say, to have a little look through that lot. How many reports have you got there?
10.
Then I'll have a word with all concerned. Individually, of course. Say, quarter of an hour each?
Dr. Calder, surely that's hardly enough.
Oh, you're right, of course. 10 minutes should be ample. Bit longer with you and Hill and Smith, of course. And then you and I can have a bit of a final chat, and there we are, home and dry. With a bit of luck, we should be through by lunchtime.
Dr. Calder, an inquiry of this sort has a very definite procedure laid down by control regulations.
Yes, I've read that too. Take days. The sooner we get this wretched thing over and done with, the better for all concerned. Or do you like the feeling of a sword hanging over your head? and have some breakfast. On this file, I have your signature. And it says that you've noticed nothing unusual about the pilot before liftoff.
That's right.
Are you sure?
Yes.
So he was quite calm, relaxed, in control of himself?
Well, now, that's a different matter.
Oh?
Well, I mean, Harry was always a bit edgy before liftoff. Could afford to be, I suppose. Bit of a prima donna, so you understand.
I see. But not more so on this occasion.
I didn't think so at the time.
Come in.
Oh, I'm sorry, sir. Michel Lebrun said to come along.
No, quite right. Don't go. We've just finished. Thank you.
Afraid I haven't been much help, sir.
I didn't think so at the time.
Sorry, sir.
A scrupulously accurate gentleman, friend Rao. He's beginning to wonder now. What do you think? Do sit down.
You mean, about Harry? Well, there was a moment, maybe, when I should have twigged. Just before liftoff.
But you didn't.
Well, that's hardly my pitching, is it, sir? Well, I'm no trick cyclist.
But you did think that Harry was a bit, snappy?
Oh, yes, he was that all right, sir. But you see, I've sat in that seat myself. You never really get used to liftoff, you know. Some of us show it more than others, that's all.
Oh, of course.
Well, Harry was due for leave. The tension builds up. I remember thinking...
Yes?
Well, I remember thinking the sooner Harry's earthside for a spell, the better.
Oh, I see. So, he was nearer the edge than usual. Dangerously, in your opinion?
We know that now, don't we, sir?
Let's start from the beginning. You just tell me what happened. You know, just what you thought, just what you did.
Well, if I can, let's see. Well, Harry was irritated because the director had kept him waiting. Still, there was nothing strange in that. It was what we all expected.
Certainly I was hurrying him. He was late. He was always late. But I've nothing to reproach myself for. Everything was done according to the book.
Of course. And there was no trouble about getting Dr. Ransom's signing of Harry Sanders' authorization for liftoff.
You have it there. See for yourself.
You neither of you had any doubts. You did mention Dr. Smith's concern.
She asked me to, so I did. What could I do? Sanders had total clearance from Dr. Smith herself. The day we start running Moonbase 3 according to the vagaries of a woman's fancy, that's the day to go back to Earth.
Well, how can I explain to you? You know some physical conditions have a characteristic smell.
Yes, I've heard of that.
Yes. It was as though Harry Sanders had the smell of paranoia. Paranoia is too strong a word, and yet look what happened.
And all the checks were normal?
Oh, completely. Given Sanders' personality profile, that is. Somewhat rigid, over-scrupulous, perfectionist, and yet all within acceptable limits. I had no reason.
Women's intuition?
I shan't rise to that, Dr. Calder.
I hope you won't. Still, you did nothing about all this.
Oh, yes, I did. You know I did. I made my feelings quite clear to Michel. There was nothing more I could do.
Having considered all the circumstances. Stop. However, it should be made plain that
How long?
3 hours.
Didn't even have lunch.
and in my opinion, Any delay could only be unfortunate in its consequences. Stop.
Director?
Get me a call to Commander Jackson at Base 1. And ask Walters to come and see me, please.
Coffee?
Would Dr. Lebrun, Dr. Smith, and Mr. Hill kindly report to the Director's office as soon as possible?
I should perhaps explain that I'm not here as a judge or jury, or for that matter, as counsel for the prosecution or the defense. Now, you will understand if I say that my function is more that of an examining magistrate. I have to discover the facts and report whether or not I find a prima facie case for further action.
And do you?
On the basis of this evidence, all three of you bear responsibility for the deaths of Dr. Ransom and Harry Sanders. Mr. Hill, as an astronaut himself, was perhaps in a better position than any of you to know what the pilot was going through. He realized that Sanders needed a rest, and yet he did nothing. Because, and I quote, "That sort of thing is hardly my pigeon, is it? I'm no trick cyclist."
That's not fair, sir. You're quoting out of context.
Dr. Smith, however, is a psychiatrist, and Harry Sanders was very much her pigeon. Her intuition told her that he shouldn't fly the shuttle. Yet she somehow managed to evade her responsibility and pass on the decision to Dr. Lebrun.
And what should I have done?
You could have grounded him officially.
And what sort of a career would he have had with a negative PSR in his record? I did what I could. I told Dr. Lebrun.
And my conscience is clear. Dr. Smith knew the proper procedure quite well. Everything was correct.
Correct? So correct that you let Dr. Ransom sign his own death warrant. Can't any of you understand what I'm trying to say? The people on this base have put their lives into your hands. Nothing less than total concern will do. You are all suspended forthwith until a proper inquiry tribunal can be convened. The three of you will accompany me to Earth. The shuttle leaves in 1 hour.
Well, be nice to see the old Earth again anyway. I mean, it's like getting extra leave, isn't it? Fresh air, real food.
Noise, crowds, pollution.
You may be glad to see Earth again, Tom. Do you want to spend the rest of your life on it?
Flight controls cut out. We've lost communication. Base is below the horizon, so isn't that to be expected?
Yeah, we've got the satellite, though.
We're badly holed. Must have been an explosion in the cryo tanks. Losing fuel.
Try to contact control again.
No good. Communication's out. The antennae must have had it. I better take it down while I still can.
Well, is that why? Shouldn't we try to get back to base?
Air pressure's dropping fast. Helmets and packs on.
Can you get us down?
Too bad if I can't.
everybody.
Now what? We'll wait to be rescued, I suppose.
We can't stay here. These transit suits have only got half an hour's supply of oxygen. Where are we?
The navigator's packed up, I'm afraid, but this line's our descent trajectory. My guess is we're somewhere between here and here.
We could be fairly near base 09 then.
You mean the outpost the seismologists set up last April?
Yep. There it is.
Well, there's oxygen there.
But how far is the outpost?
We don't know for sure. Know the general direction. Straight ahead. But how far could be anything between 10 minutes, 2 hours.
Only one way to find out.
So let's get a move on.
How about you?
I have a full life support pack, sir. I better stay and try and fix the radio.
Check the hull for damage.
There's no time for that.
Tom's right. We can leave that to Walters. He's staying here.
This way.
Right.
I think she's in a bit of trouble.
Are you all right, Dr. Smith?
Can you just give me a few seconds? I'm fine. I'm fine.
Look, let's just try and get to the top of that ridge over there, right? We might be able to see the outpost from up there.
And if we don't?
Shut up.
Thanks, Tom. But I've got the message.
All right. Let's go and have a look. You all right?
Yes.
So in 5 minutes we'll all be dead.
So pointless.
So foolish.
Wait. Can you feel a sort of vibration?
Okay, I see you. That's you, Dr. Calder?
You cut it a bit fine, didn't you?
Sorry there, David. Got myself lost back there. Are you sure you're in the right rendezvous?
Nonsense. I didn't ask you to do anything more than you did in your basic lunar training. Only difference was that you thought it was real. Why? I wanted you to know for yourselves. Really know what we're up against. Out there is a remorseless, implacable enemy. The most hostile environment man has ever met. Now, we must fight it together. Do you know? Up here on the moon, it is literally true. We must love one another or die. And to hell with the letter of the law. Like to hear the end of my report?
We have already done so.
Not this version. And so I find that no one at Moonbase 3, other than Sanders himself, was directly to blame for the accident. I therefore suggest no further action be taken.
Thanks.
All right, then. That's that. Now, supposing we all get back to work. Where were they last seen?
Mare Figueres. Lecco reported back at 1600. They were just about to make the last test.
At 1700, I went out with the buggy to pick them up, as arranged.
And?
Nothing. No men, no footprints, nothing.
What about their equipment?
Vanished with them.
Calder.
Yes, sir.
Get me a call to Commander Jackson at Base 1. Priority.
Yes, sir.
What can have happened?
I don't know.
Well?
I do not like that place, the Mare Frigoris. There is something, a feeling of being watched.
We mounted a search. Full emergency procedure. So far, nothing. A million things can go wrong out there.
He only needs one.
A remorseless, implacable enemy.
Is it possible that they ran into a team from another base? Saw something that was meant to be secret?
Someone's got them locked up. Keep them quiet.
Well, it is possible, surely, Tom.
I'll check, but I doubt it. I mean, we're the only base working in the Mare Frigoris area.
Commander Jackson for you, sir.
Put him through.
David, something I can do for you?
Bill, 2 of my people have gone missing in the Mare Frigoris area. No trace.
Hey, that's bad. How long have they been missing?
Oh,
For just over 8 hours.
That gives them oxygen for 2 more hours, right?
2 hours at the most.
we're searching the area ourselves, but in case they've wandered your way.
I'll get my boys answered.
I would appreciate it, Bill.
My pleasure. Call it the minute I get news, huh?
Thank you, Bill. What do you reckon, Tom?
Well, it's no good kidding ourselves. If our lads don't find them within the next 2 hours, they've had it.
Bill Jackson's team?
Oh, it'll take the Americans over an hour to get anywhere near there. Right, Guido?
Right.
Well, then, we're doing all we can, aren't we?
He cannot do this. He cannot.
Freddie has, old chum. Same for all of us.
It is not the same. Your work does not include the Mare Frigoris area.
I didn't know yours did.
There have been developments. It is essential that I make a thorough survey of the area at once.
And therefore, the Mare Frigoris area will remain out of bounds for all personnel until further notice. David Calder, Director.
We shall see.
Steve.
Short fuse, old Heinz.
Do you think you'll get anywhere?
Oh, not a hope. If it'd been the late lamented Ransom, maybe. This old teddy bear's got an iron fall. Anyway, Per, while I'm here, you know that peculiar quartz I dug up on my last survey? Well, I've been doing some tests.
With the greatest respect, Director, I question your decision.
Well, that's your privilege, Heinz. But the answer's still no.
But why? The men are missing. We must presume they are dead. Most regrettable. But still, work must go on.
We haven't even found their bodies yet.
I fail to see
And even if we do, I shall still want to know why and how they died before I authorize further work in Mare Frigoris.
You are causing delay to valuable and urgent research.
Oh, my dear Heinz, if you would only tell me more precisely why it is so urgent.
No. I'm sorry. It would be premature at this time.
Then I'm sorry too, Professor. But I cannot permit further risk to the lives of Moonbase personnel.
I ask for no help. Am I not to be permitted to risk my own life in the cause of science?
No. We don't want to lose you, Heinz. You're far too valuable.
Director?
So, I calculate that the possible fuel potential could be as...
Obdurate fool.
Perhaps the ban will be lifted soon.
Well, can't stand around here chatting. Got work to do. Oh, Heinz, if you're hung up for a bit, perhaps I could have some of your computer time. I mean, if you're not needing it.
Possibly. And perhaps you could give me a little help in return.
Oh, sure. Anything you want, you know that.
I'll walk to your laboratory with you.
Fine. See you, Pet.
Observatory to all personnel. This is an advance warning. Primary indications of a solar flare buildup have been registered.
As you see, sir. Here and here. I'll take your word for it. Surely this is just routine.
If you will permit me to explain.
Of course.
Here you can see the flare building up in the center. It does not look much. But if you look at this X-ray view, it is very much bigger than it looks. At the same time, there is a hurricane building up on Earth.
Then warn Earth, my dear Juan. There is an established procedure.
It is possible that the conditions will subside prove to be a false alarm.
Then do not warn them until you are sure.
Madre de Dios! Me can't you not see? We warn Earth now. the conditions are subside. No hurricane. Oh, everybody says we are fools. The next warning is ignored and people die.
Then just
so
tell-
we do not warn Earth. The conditions worsen, and at the same time, when we should warn them, we cannot because there is a solar storm. Then they say, why don't those fools on the moon give us warnings?
We are about to begin the review meeting. I shall inform the director of the problem. You were quite right to send for me.
Routines, procedures. Does he expect my hurricane to conform to his routines? Es increíble, cada vez que ve...
And frankly, Director, I find the workings of his mind as incomprehensible as his accent.
Oh, perhaps we have to forget that the study of weather is as much an art as a science. Surely one is entitled to some temperament, or don't you agree?
All he has to do is to follow the warning procedure. It's just routine.
The whole base would come to a shuddering halt if we all worked to rule. I mean, routine should be flexible, surely.
I suggest your attitude might change when you've been here a little longer.
Well, maybe you're right. Well, I'll see Juan after the meeting.
As you wish, Director.
I'd like you to come with me.
I'm sorry, Pierre.
I realize that you wish to keep your current work confidential.
It is just that my research is suddenly very delicate. I must be sure, or else I make a complete fool of myself. Costa? And wait. Perhaps it is right that I should tell you a little, very little, about my discoveries. Sit down, Pierre. Sit down.
The new equipment's been fully serviced, should be ready for use on Friday. The converter's been assembled. Oh, Conway tried it out last night. And that's it.
No, thanks, Tom. Helen.
1 or 2 cases of lunar stress. All they need is a month at home.
Don't we all?
Oh, then there's Dr. Barclay in Earth observation. His claustrophobia is getting worse. He may have to be sent up to Earth for a bit. Is that possible?
Juan Benavente can cope for a while. He's a good chap, even if he is excitable. Anything else?
Yes. I'm worried about Heinz Laubenthal.
Huh?
Well, on his last testing session, his personality profile showed a considerable stress peak.
That one's down to me, I'm afraid. He wants to work in Mare Frigoris, and I won't let him.
There's quite a bit of speculation going around as to the disappearance of Zeman and Lecoy.
Oh, that's naturally. Surely we're a relatively small community.
There seems to be a feeling that something odd, unexplained, happened in Mare Frigoris.
Not much we can do about that, Helen. It happens to be the truth.
We reported the implications on the 9th. As you see, he is building up and is forming an eye. You see what has happened over the last 24 hours. That build-up over the North African coast is heading straight across the Atlantic.
Sunstorm?
We should get him in about 48 hours. Could last a day, could last a week.
So we could be incommunicado at the very moment we need to send on a hurricane warning.
Precisely, Director.
Yeah. Now, get a standard hurricane warning down to Earth by 1100 tomorrow, but
make sure that they understand that it is an advance warning and that we may not be able to verify and confirm. Try to give us an ETA American coastline. Put satellites 3 and 6 onto it for the next 4 hours.
Yes, Director.
Thank you for picking it up so early. Well done. You two can liaise on administration. And let's keep the storms out there on the sun. Okay? I'm going to have a quick word with Tom Hill.
How long do you think the flare-up will last, Juan?
My estimation is that the sunstorm could be over in 48 hours. At least the worst effects.
Tom? How's it going?
All ticking over, Director.
Must we be so ruddy formal? The name is David. Dave, if you like, although I've never much cared for it.
You're the boss. You call me Tom, that's your privilege. I call you Director. That's my privilege.
Until you decide differently.
Yeah, well, that was a pretty lousy trick you played on us out there, making us think we'd all had it.
You all needed a bit of a shaking up, didn't you? Well, if there's any consolation, it's my turn now. Damn it, I came up here to fill dead men's shoes in the first place. Now there are 2 more pairs. And what am I director of, a moonbase or a mortuary?
We've searched, the Americans have searched. What else can we do?
Well, just accept it? Write them off like a pair of faulty transistors?
Yeah, I think we should. Look, everybody on this base takes a big risk just being here. For all we know, Lecco and Zeman just ran out of luck.
What about my restriction on Mare Frigoris? Do I keep it on and lose a whole area for research, or lift it and risk a few more lives?
I'm afraid I can't help you there. You decide. You're the director.
Thank you very much.
Seismology lab.
What is it, a leak?
No, total depressurization.
What is it there? What's happening?
I don't know. I couldn't get back.
Emergency. Emergency. Seismology section has been sealed off. And all personnel must be clear at the entrance area.
All the seals are holding. There's no danger to the rest of the base.
Do we know who would be in that section? Now.
Laubenthal, that's all. Okay, lads, let's go.
How are you going to get into seismology?
Through the airlock seal. How else?
Well, is that wise? I mean, if the seals are holding, why not leave them?
Okay, look, we'll come in from the outside through the hole. Main airlock at the top.
Take a video unit, Tom. I want everything recorded. Everything.
Okay.
The skin of the outer shell is badly ruptured. There's a hell of a hole. The whole place is completely wrecked. It's just a mess.
What about Laubenthal?
Dead. to pieces.
Keep searching. Here, you better get down there and check the lab. Get hold of... You were his assistant, man. Don't you want to know what happened?
I think you better send somebody with him.
I'll go. Helen, get hold of Dr. Robertson. I'll want a full autopsy report on Laubenthal immediately.
Right.
This is David Calder. There's been an accident in seismology sections, resulting in localized depressurization. Professor Laubenthal is dead. All airlocks and seals are nominal, and there is no, and I repeat, no danger to the base as a whole. Full report will be issued as soon as possible. Right. Let's go over the points one by one. Helen, how's morale?
Not good. This business coming on top of the 2 deaths in Mare Frigoris, most of the stress indices are way up.
Mine is for sure.
It's created a strange kind of hysterical excitement, akin to hysteria. I'd be more than happy to see a rational explanation found as soon as possible.
Me too. Tom.
Repairs to the lab are well underway.
How much do we know now about what happened in there?
Very little. You've seen for yourself. The place was completely wrecked.
By an explosion. And we all heard the noise.
Well, that could have been the break in the outer wall and the rush of depressurization.
Would there have been any kind of explosive materials in the lab?
No. Why should there be? We use explosive charges in the soundings, of course.
Issued from an explosive store outside the base and taken directly into the field, right? Strictly against regs to bring them inside.
That is correct.
Anyway, those charges have got to be electrically detonated. It's literally impossible to set them off by accident.
Anything fissionable or radioactive there?
Again, no.
The Geiger counter readings are nil anyway. Oh, there is one thing.
Yes?
That wall looks as though it's been bashed in from the outside.
Surely that's impossible. I mean...
There's nothing outside there to bash it, is there?
Amit, you all right?
Hardly. That would have still been in the lab. And it's not there.
Dr. Robertson?
Yes, Director.
Cause of death.
Oh, it's hard to know where to start. Shock, loss of blood, lack of oxygen. Well, the body was extensively mutilated. As Mr. Hill said, virtually torn to pieces.
By depressurization.
Depressurization alone would not have produced such extensive injuries. There must have been something else.
Such as?
A localized explosion close to the body would have produced similar effects.
I thought we'd ruled out explosions.
Any other theories, Doctor?
Laubenthal was killed by a tremendous force, presumably the force which shattered the lab's outside walls. As to the nature of that force, well, I must decline to speculate.
All right. Thank you, Doctor. Here. What exactly was Laubenthal working on? I mean, since he had to abandon his Mare Frigoris experiments.
I'm afraid, Director, he did not abandon them.
Disobeyed my directive?
He was working in the area just before he died.
You knew this? You knew and you didn't inform me?
Professor Laubenthal was my immediate superior. I felt it was a matter of loyalty.
Your loyalty is due to the base, to all of us. All right, Bear. What exactly was Laubenthal doing in Mare Frigoris?
He was taking soundings, small epicenter readings, short focus charges at subsurface depths.
Well, why were these tests so urgent? Why did he disobey the director's orders?
Professor Laubenthal never fully confided in anyone. He told me one thing only.
Let's have it.
He believed that his latest findings related to the possibility of life on the moon.
Yes.
Bruno Ponti wants to talk to you on visual, sir.
Not now.
No, he's with the outside repair party.
He says it's urgent, sir.
All right, put him through. On the main screen.
Excuse me, sir. We're repairing the outside skin on the seismology lab.
And?
Outside the rent, there's a peculiar mark on the ground.
What sort of a mark?
Well, it looks like a sort of track. We'll give you a look at it. We followed it as far as we could. About 7 or 8 kilometers, then it fades out, filling up with moon dust. It seems to be making for Mare Trigoris.
It leads right up to the lab?
Yes, sir. Right up to the lab wall.
Right. Thank you, Bruno.
Well then. How do we explain that away?
One common factor runs through the whole thing.
Which is?
Mare Frigoris. Look, 2 men are working that area. They disappear. Labenthal becomes interested in the same area. He ignores the ban and starts investigating, right, Fred?
Sure, Peter. He was working in the area, but...
Well, we all know what happened next. The new Bruno found tracks leading straight to Mare Frigoris.
I found something, it's true. Some kind of trail leading in that
Seems to me
general
we're all
direction.
leaning over backwards to avoid facing the facts.
Facts, Dr. Conway? There are no facts. We must therefore try to be logical. We are supposed to be scientists.
Oh, yes, of course. How could I forget? We are the dispensers of smug, irrefutable logic. Answers for everything in the universe, all neatly docketed and catalogued.
Well, that, after all, is why we are here, to find answers.
Right, Michel. Give me your logical, scientific explanation for the disappearance of Lecoy and Zeeman.
At the moment, I cannot. That's not to say that such an explanation does not exist.
The damage to the seismology lab, the hole in the wall, the death of Professor Laubenthal. Forget about answers. Give me a theory. Reasonable, plausible theory.
You yourself have such a theory.
Well, if you didn't all have your heads lodged firmly in the scientific sand, you'd have it too.
Good. Let's hear it. Eh?
There's something in Mare Frigoris. Maybe something alive. Supposing Zeeman and Lecoy disturbed it. It killed them. Laubenthal started tormenting it with explosions. Left its lair in Mare Frigoris. Smashed its way into the seismology lab. And killed him.
Congratulations. The monster of Planet X strikes again.
Unfortunately, your picturesque little theory has just one flaw.
Which is?
There is nothing alive on the moon, apart from man. It's been proved to be scientifically impossible.
Nearly 200 years ago, man invented the steam engine. Reputable scientists of the time claimed to have proof that it was impossible for man to survive at speeds of 25 miles an hour.
Oh, come on, Peter. That's going back a bit.
All right. I remember a newspaper clipping. When were you born, Tom?
1961. Why?
5 years before that, the Astronomer Royal made headlines by saying that spaceflight was utter bilge. But we're all here.
Unfortunately. Well, don't know about the rest of you, but I got some work to do.
So have we all, I'm sure. Oh, by the way, Bengtsson is about to go through Professor Laubenthal's papers. In view of your interest in the case, Peter, perhaps you'd care to help him.
Well, I'd be glad to. Join you in the lab in a moment, there. Well, how about some more coffee?
How about that then? Lunar monsters.
They're no damn monsters, Guido. Conway doesn't think so either. He was just pulling Lebrun's leg.
We saw the lab, Tom. And Lobenthal.
And I found that track.
Oh, some kind of freak effect.
And suppose he's right. Suppose there really is something, huh?
One for the lady, and one for the gent.
You know, I could almost swear you're enjoying all this.
Suppose I am, in a way. Something mysterious, strange. Something in this damn mechanistic universe that we've created that we don't understand.
You don't really believe there's something alive.
Maybe. Why not? Are we sure we'll recognize life when we see it?
The thing is, Peter, you enjoy this sort of speculation. You even need it. But for some of the others, you're simply spreading fear.
Something coming out of the cold, black, empty dark to shatter the warmth and comfort of our cozy little Moonbase.
You'd make my life much easier if you played this business down rather than up.
Oh, Helen, anything for you. I'll even go and help them arrange a nice, cozy, scientific explanation.
Is there something wrong?
You're supposed to tell me that.
The work. It's some way of throwing metals, isn't it?
Pretty near the proverbial major breakthrough.
And it'll be quite something if you succeed, won't it?
Terrific. Only one thing worries me.
What's that?
Why the hell do I bother? See you.
Calder?
I have a call for you, Director. General Cheng from Moonbase 4.
Oh, thank you. Put him through. General Chang. This is a great pleasure, sir.
General Calder.
No, not General. Just Doctor, I'm afraid.
Dr. Calder. Malicious rumors have been spreading amongst the personnel at our base.
Have they now? Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
These rumors concern some mythical monster in the Mare Frigoris area.
Oh, I see.
I am reliably informed that these rumors originate at your base. We cannot tolerate a propaganda offensive of this nature.
Oh, wait a minute now, General. I mean, there's no question of propaganda. As you say, there have been rumors.
I should regret having to make an official complaint to your assembly.
Wrong, do you understand? Totally, completely wrong. You have completely botched up the entire correlation. So there are stupid stories of Moonmaster, eh? Well, here, we ignore them. You have endangered the reputation of this department and the lives of the people back on Earth. Out of my sight.
He came up behind me, see, all of a sudden. Grabbed my shoulder. I suppose I was edgy. I mean, we all are, these monster stories. I just lashed out.
Yeah, and fractured his airline, you stupid...
I got him in as soon as I realized.
All right, that'll do. Get him to the sick bay. You better go, too. Get yourself a sedative. Peterson, you're on shift next. Get suited up and take over. Well, get a move on. We're behind schedule as it is. Look, what is this?
They're not going outside, Tom. Not till this monster business is cleared up.
There's nothing to clear up. You heard that idiot clobbered his mate. There was nothing there.
Maybe not this time, but there might have been.
Nothing Labenthal said gave you any hint or clue about what he'd found.
No more than I've told you. Perhaps he said something to partners.
Why partners? They weren't exactly matey, were they?
Far from it. They're always quarreling about the computer turn, but not long before the accident, things seemed to change.
I'm sorry, Director, but that's it. My lads refuse to do any more exterior maintenance without proper protection.
Damn it, they'd only be just outside the base.
Laubenthal was inside.
What sort of protection do they want?
But their arms on the base. They want them issued.
No, I won't allow that.
Well, something must be done, Director. Today I received 3 more requests for emergency leave, another resignation.
Who was that?
Monique Sorel. She works with Beneventi. Today, apparently, he berated her publicly for a relatively minor error. 2 of her colleagues have threatened to resign in sympathy.
Only a short while ago, I was saying how efficient that department was.
Every project is falling behind schedule. Errors in calculations, minor accidents, dragging of the feet. Only one exception. Conway.
He's thriving on it.
But his behavior's been both childish and irresponsible.
Suppose there's no need to ask about morale.
Way down.
This base contains the best brains in Europe, and yet one little crisis and the whole damn place falls apart. Now, what are they, scientists or baby mice?
They're frightened.
I know! Me too. Calder.
Commander Jackson from Moonbase 1 for you, Director.
Put him through. Hello, Bill.
David, this is a little sensitive. You alone?
Well, apart from my departmental heads, but if it's confidential, they can...
No, maybe it's better if Dean on it. We've got some pretty funny rumors going around over here.
You have?
We've heard you've been having some problems. You know, guys gossip over the intercom. Look, have you heard any kind of a story about a lunar monster?
Yeah, I've heard.
It's hitting morale pretty hard. Some of the boys are getting kind of spooky, you know, and, well, I just wondered.
No need to worry, Bill. We had a couple of freak accidents caused a lot of silly talk. I'm having a report put out. I'll shoot you over a copy.
Yep, sure, I guess that was it. Thanks, David. Sorry I'm cutting on your meeting, huh?
Okay. Goodbye, Bill. If we don't stop the panic now, it'll spread to every single base on the moon.
And it won't just stop there. The stories are bound to reach Earth.
Journalists, newscasters, questions in the assembly.
I'm mounting a full-scale search of Mare Frigoris.
Who's taking it out?
I am. And you're coming with me. Michelle, you'll be in charge of the base.
Weapons?
Not carried. In the buggies.
Right.
I'll take the first party due west across the crater.
Yeah.
Tom, your team will go north, round the crater, by Barrow. Now, Michelle, if anything should go wrong, you're to put the whole base on red alert, right?
Very well.
Now, in that event, you will make a top priority call to Earth. You will not send out another party without direct instructions. Just call a meeting of all Moonbase directors and give them whatever information you have.
That's quite a hot seat you're leaving for me.
Try it for size.
Calder. You there, Michelle?
Go ahead, sir.
We're just ready to leave. Have Pinkston and Conway come up with anything yet?
Not so far. If there's anything significant, I'll keep you informed. Good luck.
Even at this range, reception isn't good. Anything you can do about it?
I'm sorry, sir. Some storm creeping in. I'm afraid it will probably get worse.
Thank you. So, now we wait.
How are you doing?
Nothing. You?
Well, I think I'm onto something here, but I don't know what.
Ah, the mysterious book. Laubenthal kept it hidden.
Trouble is, part of it's in German, part of it's in a sort of private code, and part of it's just plain gibberish.
Is it? Well, look at that.
Oh, yes. The professor made some of his computer time over to partners.
Why partners?
I'm not sure. You remember I told you he became suddenly almost friendly. There was something about a favor.
Something Lobenthal wanted in exchange for the computer time.
Could be.
I see.
Lightweight nuclear warhead. The United States was well and truly back in the space race. The Soviet Union, however, still had a commanding lead. This film was the first glimpse given to the outside world of the launch into space of two dogs.
Hello there, my old Pete. Let me get you a drink.
No, not now, Steve.
No? How's the old Sherlock Holmes business going? Turn anything up?
Maybe.
Yeah. Oh, that. Yeah, well, poor old Heinz, he couldn't use all his computer time, so he made some of it over to me.
Just like that.
What else? Let me get you the drink.
There's more to it, isn't there, Steve?
Yeah, there's more.
Hey, Pete, what happened? You found the answer. Part of it. Only part of it, Per.
I'm pretty tired. I think I'll go for a bite.
Fine. Fine.
I'll come back later.
On course. On schedule. Back later.
Communication's very bad.
Solarstone, he's building up very fast. And it's possible that they will lose contact altogether.
Are you tracking them?
They will arrive at Mare Frigoris very soon.
Yeah, I know what's happened. So where are the readings for the moment exactly before the disaster?
They could still be in the instrument. It was too heavy to move.
Moonbase calling. Come in, search party. Are you receiving me? Come in, please.
The whole thing is gummed up. We won't get through while the solar storm is on.
Michel, get me the director. I have to speak to him.
I'm sorry, Dr. Conway. We cannot make contact.
I've got to. We must warn them. They're walking into danger.
I'm afraid it's out of the question, Peter.
Peter! Per, what's he found out?
I have no idea.
They've arrived. They are now at Mare Frigoris.
Tom? I can only just hear you. Take your team up to the crater heights. There may be something to be seen from there. We are going down into the crater. Okay. Oh. What the hell are we supposed to be looking for? Get on with it. Hardly the time for guests. Where's Calder? He's over the ridge, searching the crater. Innocent. I've got to stop him. We're out of contact. It's that damn storm. That's half a mystery solved. David? David? I know what's happening. I know what's going on. He can't hear you. His intercom's out.
This is Moonbase 3. Come in, search party.
With only light casualties. Can you hear me, Moonbase? Come in, please.
Guido, this is Lebrun. Has Dr. Conway found you yet?
Yes, sir. Dr. Conway is here. We have discovered the bodies of Lecoy and Zeman. They had been buried. We are about to return to base.
Well, whatever has happened, one can presume that's the end of Dr. Conway's monster.
Poor Peter.
Yeah, it's true that Mari Frigoris was the villain of the piece, but not because it was the lair of the monster.
Hard luck, Peter.
Laubenthal had discovered the existence of a limited shifting layer of permafrost, ice, beneath the surface of Mare Frigoris. The sounding charges that Lecoy and Zeman were using were made more powerful by the permafrost propagation effect. Shock waves caused the subsidence, which led to their deaths. The explosions caused extreme surface instability, as the director discovered on his later search.
Oh, tactfully put. I was damn nearly buried alive.
Okay, so that explains Lecoy and Zeman. What about Laubenthal?
Dr. Partness?
Laubenthal realized that the size of his charges made taking soundings in the Mare Frigoris dangerous, but he was determined to go on. He wanted to find out the full extent of the permafrost layer. He even asked me to make up some charges for him, something with a smaller, more localized effect.
And that's what you did?
Yes. I rigged up some detonators for him from those little capsules of hypergolic fuel. As you know, they explode on contact. I warned him to be careful.
We can't be sure exactly what happened, but we do know that Laubenthal used some of Partness's charges successfully.
He must have been in the process of preparing a second batch when a mild tremor was recorded on his own seismograph.
We all assumed that the explosions caused the tremor. In fact, it was the other way around. Poor Hines simply blew himself up.
Okay, Director. Had your pound of flesh?
You may leave now if you wish, Dr. Partners.
What about the track? The track leading to Mare Frigoris?
A vague blur pointing in that direction. In fact, it was a freak linear subsidence caused by the tremors that set off the explosions. We only saw it as a track because that's the way we were thinking.
And what followed was created by overactive imaginations.
Mine in particular.
Well, you said it. But you did eventually find the real solution for us. Also, you helped to save my life, which makes up for a hell of a lot. Now, to look on the credit side of this whole miserable business, Professor Laubenthal obviously has made a discovery of the most tremendous importance, which reflects with great credit on Moonbase 3. It completely alters our thinking as to the possibility of some kind of life having developed on the moon. Not to mention the tremendous implications for fuel production. Now, a full report will be issued soon. In the meantime, I would be very grateful if you would pass on all you've heard to your colleagues.
When everyone was rushing around, turning 2 and 2 into 5, did you ever have doubts?
Me? No. Practical man, aren't I? Well, perhaps just for a moment, I wondered.